Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Captain Fabulous, and with me we have James Chen. How are you doing today, James?
I'm doing good, doing good. Hope everybody out there is doing well as well. Really excited here because Blaston is obviously, like with Ultra David, kind of new for me, and it's been quite the experience so far. And I've really been enjoying seeing the kind of skill that these players are displaying here today.
Oh yeah, no. The reason that I've been so drawn to Blaston, as I have just played it for about 2 years straight without much break, is the level of depth of skill. You know, as you've seen other players come on, like Turbo just said in the break, when he first started playing, he thought he was really good. And then he got to a high level and then just realized that there were people such a higher level than him. And that's what happened to me. That's what happened, I think, pretty much to everyone who's ever played Blaston.
You can tell how competitive people are when they're happy to find out they're bad at a game. You know? Because then it just encourages you to want to try to get better.
Yeah, plus, I mean, it's not fun just winning every game. The really fun games are when you just get crushed. And what we're about to see is we're really going to go into some of the top level Blaston. Now, we've just seen the EU region, and there's a huge EU bias. I'm going to say best region, obviously. But now we're going to go into the NA region, and the first match is really two of the best known players in Blaston. I believe we have Woody versus Jjjosie. Do we not?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Woody versus Jjjosie. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, this group doesn't look correct to me.
Yeah, it looks like it's a little bit outdated maybe for one of the previous events, but basically for the brackets that we're looking over here, I think it is going to be Woody versus Jjjosie. And if I'm not mistaken, this is almost kind of like a matchup between, what is it, like the previous best player and the current best player from the NA region, correct?
Yes. Well, Jjjosie has been the best NA player and for a long time considered the best player in the world until Tesseract came along and kind of challenged him for that title for so long. For about a year, at least. Over a year, actually, well over a year. But before that, the two titans of Blaston were Woody, plays YouTube, and another player, iGoldenKnight, but he's kind of taken a break. I don't think he's got the play space right now. But when he comes back, we're all very excited. But both players are amazing players to watch. Woody is known for... well, he's known for his double Vipers, which I really hope we're going to see. But it's... I mean... Tesseract shows it's viable, but he has been switching to different builds. And Jjjosie really is a really, really versatile player, and he can pick up anything. His main weapon of choice, or main weapon he's been known for, given the incredible time span of dominance he's had, was really that hammer ellipse that he started with.
Yeah, and again, you know, for those players for the people watching here who haven't played this again, I've been, you know, practicing, trying to see how strong I could become. This game is hard. It's very difficult. I mean, what we saw in that EU region, especially with, you know, that Viper ellipse that Tesseract was using, you know, ellipse is, you know, describing that you can curve the bullets, kind of like the movie Wanted, you know, from a long time ago. But I mean, even in the loadout screen where the opponent is just standing there, I'm practicing my ellipses and I couldn't hit a dang thing. It is very difficult, requires a lot of practice and skill.
Well, after this, I'm happy to take you to a training session in Ozo. But I'm no Tesseract, but I have been known to be okay. So I am, really this next match is the match I'm probably most excited about of the games we're casting today. It's going to be a really strong one. Obviously, we're going to see Jjjosie's probably going in as the favourite, but I would never count out Woody. Woody's been in everyone's top 5, top 6 lists pretty much throughout the entire run of Jjjosie's dominant career, and he's always got that massive competitive edge. He's got an ex-mixed martial arts background. He's one of the older players. He's one of the few players in their 30s, but very fit. and gorgeous because he's had this whole Blaston transformation of losing weight, and it really shows.
Wow.
But on the other hand, we have Jjjosie, who is as a younger player who's I think currently at university, has got a basketball background, is very tall, very athletic as well. So both these players are going to be able to go for hours, but I don't think it's going to be hard to stretch out 5 games that long.
Right. I mean, but obviously the height that Jjjosie has can come into advantage, you know, in some ways, being able to kind of dodge things at a higher level. But I got to imagine being taller, it's harder to get down low and, you know, and dodge under a lot of things.
I will tell you, as the tallest player in competitive Blaston, that when I hit the floor, I cannot get back up. But Jjosie's a lot more fit than me. So being tall is beneficial. Because you have... we're going straight into the match. Let's go in. Let's see what we've got. So, Jjjosie on that hammer ellipse. He is...
Yeah, and interestingly enough, we've got the Hurricane here from Wudi. That's not something that we saw, I don't think, at all during the EU matches. We didn't see any of the Hurricane play, and that's obviously just being able to rain the bullets down from the sky, and he's got the split version as well. So it's so hard to keep track of those bullets coming from above. As you can see in this view, you barely even see the bullets at all.
The one that actually benefits about Split Hurricane is normal Hurricanes have a sound indicator when they're about to hit you. Split Hurricane doesn't have that, so your opponent has no idea when it's about to hit them. And it's just a free chip damage a lot of the time. And the reason that Rudy's going to really have that is he's going to be trying to push Jjjosie off the back of his podium by putting pressure at the back and having it come over him. And then when Jjosie's forced to the front of his podium, he's more exposed, more easier to hit with that Luma follow-up. So as we get into the game, we see that Jjjosie and Wudi are pretty equal, it seems, in their
And what's interesting here is it really looks like, I mean, outside of the Luma, I feel like Jjosie's going for mostly just kind of a you know, spread the bullets everywhere. You know, he's got 2 hammers here, which obviously are the spread shots, and then he's got the Wildcat, of course, Raptor Lips, the 2 standard kind of guns here, but no Vipers. Actually, no Vipers at all on either side here.
No, I mean, Viper is often used in place of a Luma. It's basically a follow-up weapon. Some crazy players play Luma and Viper, but Jjosie's central main strategy here is to build up a wall of bullets and then go with the Luma. Now, if Jjjosie dodges a Luma, he's going to walk into the wall of bullets and take chip damage. If he doesn't, he can take further damage too. Jjjosie is on ahead. We've got 10 seconds left. Wudi hits a shot and dies. So that's round 1 to Jjjosie, and Wudi doing a strong defense. You know, it's not a lot of players have even taken a game on Jjjosie, so it's a very good start nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, Jjjosie just hasn't not finished anything lower than 2nd place in any of the tournaments that he's played in. So obviously, very, very strong player here. And again, Jjjosie and Tesseract are considered number 1 and 2 in the world, depending on you know, where your regional bias lies.
Tesseract has not come 1st place in the tournament for over a year. Okay, just throwing that out there. We'll get back into the game. Gotta throw that out there as an EU bias person. Okay, so we're starting off much kind of fairly equal, not the wildest start last time. Both just trying to set up and follow up that. Jjjosie going for the forward pressure now, and Wudi doing a good job of dodging, and actually takes a bit of chip damage, it seems.
Yeah, and you can see right now that Hurricane split from the sky up there. Yeah, just coming down. Oh, and forcing the position, and that's what causes Jjjosie to just walk into that big damage right there. I do believe that was a Luma shot that got him there, doing a good chunk of damage there.
Ooh, great setup by Wudi. What you can see there is he pretended to throw the nade out and then grabbed it and threw it back again. Just to throw Jjjosie off a little bit. Almost could be trying to use it as a drop block. But Jjosie's setting up a clamp and is probably going to go aggressive now. Doesn't have any follow-up available. He had the Luma, didn't pick it up.
Jjjosie right now in that red. Gonna have to try to get some damage over here, but of course not too far behind. And there you go, just like that, chipping away, but Jjjosie also getting down to very little health as well.
Ooh, it's too close to count now. I think Jjjosie might have a slight advantage, but both players aren't going to leave it to chance. They're both going to want to push up. Jjjosie now has the advantage, just needs to dodge. But Wudi lands the Luma!
Yeah, not only lands the Luma there, but I mean, you watch the screen and you looked at Wudi's side over there, there were bullets everywhere, and the ability for these players to dodge so many shots is just absolutely amazing to me.
I mean, that is high-level Blaston. These guys have been playing for well over a year each. They've been playing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours, and it's almost become second nature to them. But, you know, if it was any other player they would be playing, I would hazard a guess, or any other player outside the top players. These players can often take 0 damage in a round. It's just the level of aggression versus defense, which is really on display right here in this game.
Yeah, and you saw right there Jjjosie taking a little bit of damage from those hurricanes from the sky. But again, Jjjosie still with the lead here. See Jjjosie right now. Hasn't picked up the Luma yet, has been waiting on that. The Luma's been sitting there for just a little bit. And then Jjjosie's been doing plenty of damage without it. Yeah.
That was just good bullet health. Wudi eating a lot of that Hammerade. Now, the thing about this spread Hammerade is that when you throw it out, as Wulong did repeatedly say in the last game, it does have a hole you can go through. Wudi taking both the Hammerade and the Luma shots. The problem, though, with that hole is that if you go through that hole, you try and go through the center where you don't really take any damage from the Hammerade, you open yourselves up to being a sitting target. You're just going to eat shots.
Exactly. I mean, this game, a lot of the times, the shots are not designed necessarily to hit the opponent, but to push them into the areas so that the secondary weapon that you have or the next weapon that you pick up is going to find its mark. There's so much about this controlling the space and where they are on the podium. And it's just, again, it's so much bait and baiting and trapping in this game, and I really like the way the different loadouts create that ability.
Yep, one of the things which you learn first at high level Blaston is that you have a limited amount of podium space. So and so does your opponent. So rather than just shoot one gun after the other and then trying to get them to instantly kind of reflexively dodge it and hope they don't, by setting up with these Hammernades, these Hammer-E clamps, the aim of the game there is to give the opponent as small a podium space place as possible to be dodging in, so they're that much easier to hit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to show a little bit of my age here, but like one of my favorite games of all time was a game in the arcade called Discs of Tron. I don't know if you've actually ever played that before, but I mean, the parallels between that game and this game are massive for anybody in the chat here who's actually played that game before. There's so much of that same concept of pushing people into certain areas, and it's such a similar game, except now I'm actually the one doing the dodging and the aiming and the shooting, and that makes it a lot harder. But, you know, you did say, who was it, Jjjosie or was it Wudi that, you know, thanks to Blaston has lost a lot of weight and such?
Wudi. He looks great,
That's good encouragement for me to keep playing this game, because I think I could use a similar glow up here.
Oh yeah, no. If you check the chat, I actually posted my my transformation physically as well over playing Blaston. Lots of players have gone through it. It's a great exercise routine, and what caused me to lose the most weight of all the weight I gained during COVID.
Nice.
But typically, what I would say though is when it comes to trying to push players into certain areas of the podium, what you see a lot is players trying to push their opponent to the front of their podium. Because when you're closer to the front, that means there's much less time for the bullets to travel before they hit you, making it much harder to dodge. We've seen lots of double Vipers in the EU region, and the counter to double Vipers has always been considered to be stand at the back. Stand at the back, easier to dodge, more time for them to get there. Whereas if you're at the front, very easy just to hit you in the face very, very quickly.
Right. And it's so fascinating to me too, because we did see the double Vipers from Tesseract, and it's such a different style. Like Oolong and David were saying, very hard to hit people with those weapons, but the damage payout from that is so strong. So sometimes you're just sitting there throwing out all the raining, all the bullets from, hammer side of, with hammers and such, but then you just fighting against that, and then you get one good Viper shot in there. But again, neither of the players going with the Viper at all.
I'll talk a lot about double Vipers with you later, but for now, let's focus on this match. Rudy sticking with this split Hurricane. I'm not sure it's working as hard as he'd like, as opposed to something that we see Jjjosie's running, which is that fastball Hurricane nade, which does a lot more damage and comes down faster.
Rudy taking big damage here to start already, as you can see, down to just about 15% health.
I've heard we've having some audio latency issues, but I think that's going to get solved from our
Okay. But here we go now. Let's see if Woody can get anything on the board over here. But again, Jjjosie just showing how strong he is at this game right now. And there we go, sending out the Hurricanes once again to rain down. As you can see from Woody's point of view over here, so hard to see those bullets dropping down on your head. And even though they don't do a lot of damage, they will add up. And you can see so many rounds that we saw on the European side of things coming down to just literally slivers of health. Oh yeah, oh gosh, look at this. Woody took so much damage from just a lot of very small hits right there. Was unable to dodge that barrage.
Well, those Hurricanes are actually a lot bigger than you expect. They're actually around 14 damage, because the faster ones do more damage. And it's a really nice combo with this Luma, because you shoot up the Hurricanes and you've got about 3 seconds before they hit, so you can immediately follow up with damage. It's a very fast combo and a very effective one.
Yeah, and got the weapon toss right there for 1 damage, but Woody's got to get a lot more than that. As you can see, half the round already over. Woody trying to make this comeback here, down to almost 50% life.
Well, he's got to basically do a lot of damage and not take damage like that in 40 seconds. It's a hard task, and it's not an impossible one, but against a player like Jjjosie, it can often feel like that, and he takes the Luma to the face. That's not what you need to do.
You got these Hurricanes coming down. You saw it again from Woody's point of view. No Hurricanes on the screen. Suddenly one shows up for about half a second, drops on your head, and Jjjosie is going to take the game 2-0.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to see a loadout swap here. I would really like to see Woody get off this Hurricane. I feel that while it might be effective in a bullet hell versus bullet hell game, the fact is it's not putting enough pressure on Jjjosie. It might be doing a bit of damage, but if Jjosie's taking maybe 6 damage at a time, it's not ideal, but the games are finishing with much bigger health disparities. The benefit of fast full Hurricane is you're putting a lot of pressure on your opponent fast. You're forcing action. It's counter pressure. And that's the other thing which we haven't really discussed much, which is counter pressure is really important in Blaston, which is it's good to try and set up, but it's not like doing it on a video game where you're just kind of setting up with combos on your controller. It's you physically having to do that. And if someone's shooting a gun at you, that's putting pressure on you. And if you just pick up a gun, maybe 3 second, 4 second cooldown, just shoot at them while they're trying to do a big combo, the idea is to make that harder for them. And most players, it does cause them to set up the combo less, giving you more podium space to dodge, giving you less pressure from their combos.
Yeah, again, the physicality of this game is something that, needs to be talked about as much as possible. I mean, they do those, experiments where they make you, run or do some physically intensive stuff and then try to make you like solve math problems and such. And you can see how much that affects, your decision making, the speed at which you can think. And yeah, sure enough, when you are playing this game, I mean, you are dodging and weaving and going in all directions. And you can see it too. A lot of the players are able to, shift their hands to change the position of their bodies to make it harder to hit, going up and down. And there's just so much movement involved in this game. And it can definitely add up.
Yeah, what you do see when players are dodging though is you dodge with your face. Okay, so where you look controls your body. It is true that the hands do move the body a bit, okay, from left and right, and it is important to keep consciousness of where your hands are. But the majority is dodging with your face. And when you first pick up this game, the first thing that you do every game is you try and dodge with your body, keep your face so you can see where the bullets are coming from, and just try and move out the way. And then you just get hit because, you know, the VR doesn't track that. So a lot of Blaston is face around looking down, and that's a trade-off because if you're looking to the side, you've got a much smaller area that the opponent can hit. But you also can't see where the bullets are coming from because you're looking to the side. So it's a trade-off as to you know, reactive dodging and you know, understanding where the bullets are coming from and trying to dodge like that. Typically, yeah, go on.
Oh no, I was just saying, and as you mentioned before, after just hours and hours and hours of playing this, there's just kind of this understanding of where, you know, your hurt boxes are, essentially, where they can get hit by the bullets. And so that's how you see these players. I mean, like I said, sometimes you just look at their side of the podium and there's just, you know, dozens of yellow bullets there, and somehow they just come out of that completely unscathed. And you know, after a while, it does become second nature.
Yeah, well, when it comes down to those tiny little yellow pellets, a lot of the way that players are going to get around it is to very precise drop blocking. So we've touched on it a little bit, I think, and that's when you basically drop an empty weapon and then pick it up very quickly. And when you've dropped it, it will hit the bullet and then destroy it. You can only do that so many times, depending on the size of the bullet or the power, the collision of the bullet and the HP of the gun. But it can just give you little holes in these walls of bullets for you to dodge and weave through.
Yeah, especially too if you're just out of bullets, because then you don't even need to pick it up again, right? You can just use it as the pure shield, or actually, do players even use zero ammo guns for multiple drop blocking? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a zero ammo gun, that is just a mini shield. Even shields, which have stopped working because they have a time, you can use the handle after they stop working to then drop block too. So they stay relevant. We see a Viper from Jjjosie.
Ah, there we go. And he's got the ellipse version as well. So not going to go with the double Viper, but going to go with just a single one here. Maybe try to get some bigger damage, because looks like he traded out the Luma. So not going to go with the Luma and actually just going to go for the Viper ellipse instead to try to get the 30 damage per hit.
Well, yes, and also what we're going to see is Jjjosie is a master Viper player, and he's really going to take advantage of that height advantage he has by using downward Vipers. By being taller and having a higher angle of swing, he's able to get more distance and cover more ground, essentially.
Yeah, now we've got the energy cages here from Jjjosie trying to control the space with the Nova nades. Actually, I'm sorry, the Avalanche nades here.
Majestic nades, actually. And Majestic
dang, he's got 3 nades. Oh my goodness. Okay, I was looking through there. Wow, Jjosie's going with a 3 grenade loadout here. Interesting.
Expect lots of juggling from this match. Oh, and just sniping that nade with the hammer. And this is
just controlling that area of the screen over there with that Majestic nade. Now Wudi is going with trying to control, but is just having so much trouble, so much difficulty right now. You can see down to very little health right now.
Oof, well, he's managed to make some damage back. He lands Luma, no, it's not enough. He's so close. Oh wait, it's so neck and neck.
Yeah, who's in the lead? Oh, actually, Jjjosie has the lead right now. Jjjosie is going to take this one, but just barely. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of these rounds coming down to just literal pixels of health difference.
There's such a close round there. But here's the thing, it's a really interesting loadout for Jjjosie to bring against Wudi, because if anyone knows how to play against triple nade, it's going to be the person who ran triple nade double Viper for several months, and that's Wudi.
Yeah, but the Nova Nade finding its mark right there and just doing so much damage to Woody right away. And again, there's that Majestic Nade. You can see how these are all just controlling the space. Jjjosie really pulling out something very unique here.
A lovely Viper shot there. Yeah, well, basically, you know, the nades mean the Nova Nade you've got to look at. If you don't look at it, or you don't know where it's coming from, you're going to take 30 damage. If you're looking at the Nova Nade, that means Jjjosie can walk in front of his podium, pop you with the Viper Ellipse, get some free damage on you. Free 30 damage. If you don't look, you take a Nova Nade and take 30
from
damage.
Behind. Oh. Yeah, and again, Jjjosie with the timing, trying to throw the nades behind Woody so that when they go off, they travel from behind. They do have that tracking once the grenade actually goes off, so with perfect timing, they might not even see it coming from behind at all.
And really, Jjjosie's got only counter pressure as a defensive option. He's got no shield. So it's very aggressive from Jjjosie, and you've seen he repeatedly used his hammer just to get rid of Woody's nades.
Yeah, but look at this. Woody with the lead now, despite the fact that Jjjosie had such a strong start in this round. And look at this. He just needs a tiny little hit. Juggling the grenades. He's going to go for the triple grenade here. See if he can get any play out of that.
Yeah, he needs to hit a Viper Ellipse, really. That's how to do it, but it's not going to happen. Woody ties up game number 3. It's a fun loadout from Jjjosie. Wouldn't run it, though. I'm not sure how effective it is.
You think that this is more just kind of a, prove that I can win with this interesting loadout, kind of having fun setup here?
I think it's definitely for having fun. I don't think Jjjosie needs to prove he can win with any loadout. He's done it enough times. But there's definitely method to this. It's definitely a loadout which is well put together. I just don't think he'd be running this if it was a game 5.
There's that energy cage right there, and now here comes the Nova. A nice dodge on all of that as well. Woody still managing to avoid any damage here in this round. Jjjosie in the blue right now. Oh, that Nova grenade exploded right under him and just hit him right away. So Jjjosie getting that big chunk of damage, and again, another big chunk of damage. And Woody suddenly finding himself down to about 25% life. He was able to make the comeback last round, so definitely cannot count him out just yet. But Jjjosie, this is match point right now. Remember, he's already up 2-0 one round here, so all he needs to do is survive this 45 seconds and should it be able to advance forward.
Woody needs to land his Lumas. That's pretty much his way back into this.
Yeah, and that's the dangerous thing when you don't have a lot of Vipers or anything like that. You don't have the high damage, and so Luma is basically the best chance right now to get that damage. If he can't get, he's waiting for it to respawn.
He needs to wait for his Hammerade and his Luma and combo those together. One by one, Jjosie's going to be able to get rid of it.
10 seconds left, 10 seconds left, and there finally the Luma is there. He's got to land at least like 2 of these Luma shots, otherwise, no, it's not going to happen. And there it is. Jjjosie is going to advance with a 3-0 over Woody, showing that domination that Jjjosie has been showing this whole time with the 3 nade loadout.